All right, welcome everybody to the first ever episode of the Poppin' Pads podcast presented by ADU, the foremost Discord community, great community of NFL all day supporters. Our focus is less on NFL all day and more on the NFL. We love talking football, and here to talk football with me, as he always will be, is my good friend Andrew. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. My name is Nate. We're going to be doing this thing here. We're going to try to keep it pretty informal. We're just talking football. So, if you guys are out there, please leave a comment, hit a like, hit the subscribe button, interact with us. Let us know what you want us to shoot the shit about, and we will definitely shoot some shit at you. So,
Yeah,
first,
this is definitely for the football fans.
Yep. As I'm sure you can tell by the hat adorning Andrew's head and the logo behind mine, we are AFC North rivals, and that's I feel like that's going to make this conversation all the more interesting because I think you know exactly where I'm going. And I think your roaring Bengals have turned into meowing pussycats now that one Mr. Joe Burrow is on the shelf. What do you think? Are you going back
Yeah,
to
yeah.
going back to third place now, or what? Kenny Pickett's going to rise to the
No, no,
top?
no. No, I think Kenny Pickett is going to sit straight at the bottom. Well, maybe second from bottom. I don't think anybody's gonna, supplant the Browns from being worse in the division
Hey,
where they should be.
yeah, no, I mean that's where they belong. That's where they are. They're brown for a reason.
Yeah, but no, I we'll have Burrow back week one, but yeah, that what happened day two of training camp should never happen to who's about to be the highest paid player in the NFL. Like, why why are we scrambling when you're literally not allowed to get touched? Like, who cares? Like, you're about to make millions upon millions of dollars. Just sit your happy ass on the fucking floor. Like, I don't care if Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard are about to, tag team your ass. Just sit down. Don't run. Don't worry about it. It's the second day of training camp.
yeah,
And to see Burrow get carted off day two, for Bengals fans, you got Kajana Carter, you got, Carson
yeah.
Palmer. We have a long history of just injuries that just ruin seasons. And to see that happen, Joe Burrow is now what, year four?
I think four. Yeah.
Yeah, year four. He's yet to have a legitimate training camp. Rookie year, COVID. Uh, Second year was also a shortened training camp. Last year, he had the appendectomy, literally like a year and a day from his most recent injury. You're going on 4 years without having an actual training camp due to various things, two of which were injuries. Well, one injury and one, your body was just like, nah, I don't need this anymore, and you know, burst your appendix. But you can't be a franchise quarterback and not get some sort of practice when everybody else is getting their practice. Your first practices can't be week one, week two, week three, week four. Your practices have to be preseason week one, week two, week three, week four. And it's just, as a Bengals fan, it's frustrating because it's almost like every year it's like, oh, this is what's going to happen this year. We're always sitting there waiting. What's going to be the thing this year? What's it going to be this year? Okay, well, day two, Joe Burrow out for several weeks, as Zach Taylor wanted to say,
Yeah.
which could have meant I had heard anywhere from 2 weeks to 7 weeks. But I think at this point we're going on. He'll be ready week one, which is fine, which is great. But then you even had Jamar Chase a handful of days ago. It was like, oh, I don't want Burrow back till week five. Like, no, shut
What?
up. Like, yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No. What?
Yeah, he gave an interview. I don't remember if it was like a national interview or if it was just with local reporters, but he was saying that he told Joe to rest until week five to make sure that he knew he was 100% healthy and ready to go.
Okay, so
Apparently,
it was a protective thing. I think that's
yeah,
actually
it was a protective thing.
that's solid. Actually, I think five
Yeah, I
weeks
mean, it
is a
was a
little
protective
much.
thing.
You know,
Yeah, well, yeah.
Who's
If
your
you can be back week one, yeah, maybe not wait till week
Yeah.
5.
Who's your
But
who's
if you
who's
look
your
at our first
backup?
5 games, it's Trevor Simeon right now.
Okay.
So I mean, he's seen
He's
action, but
serviceable, I think.
yeah,
You know.
I mean against whatever against the Browns, we could probably run me out there and we'd be fine. But whatever. I'd rather have Joe Burrow.
I have the Browns ever
It's
figure
just
it out though. I mean, there's a good team in there. They're just the Browns. As much as the
yeah,
Bengals are
well,
the
they're
Bengals.
everybody's yeah, they're everybody's Super Bowl favorites until about week 2 when they're like,
uh,
oh wait, never mind.
yeah.
They're good players, but they're not a good team. But yeah, like yeah, apparently last year when Chase got hurt, he waited an extra week to come back, which I think he should have come back for the Titans. I'm pretty sure he came back the week after. Um, but he said that he did that because he knew he was ready to play, but he knew if he waited one more week, the injury risk, according to his doctors, had dropped like 80% or something like that. So that's why he took himself out for an additional week.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it's he's trying to protect his quarterback, but at the same time, it's like
I really
if
wish.
I can have Joe Burrow for 17 games, I want Joe
Yeah.
Burrow for 17 games.
I would have liked to. I've heard the commentary like the day after. I wish we would have been more prepared to cue this up and go because I'd love to. I would love to compare the before and after on this. You know,
Yeah,
I can only imagine
no,
the profanity fucking laden tirade that you were about to go on. Oh,
oh yeah, the day of, the day after, it would have just been 20 hours of just f this, f that, like
yeah.
our our season's doomed, like the sky is falling, woe is me, typical Bengals Cincinnati luck, like just waiting on it.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes for us.
I mean, sometimes though, I mean, but you've been on the cusp of it for a long time. I mean, let's be honest. If the Buccaneers can win a Super Bowl, so can anybody.
Yeah, it's our turn next.
Yeah.
Sorry, Browns,
To see,
Lions.
but see, here's the thing. Even the Eagles got one. You know, I mean, they're obviously the armpit of Pennsylvania. You know,
Yeah.
they're just back there with their little baby Super Bowl back there, and that's okay. That's okay. You know,
Well,
we give they got
Eagles,
they got Rocky Balboa. You know, they got all
yeah,
this other stuff going. They've got a cracked bell. You know, Liberty Bell's gonna be. You know, they got there's a lot of things to hang their hat on. You know, mostly that fictional character.
yeah.
But um,
Did you hear the story though that dropped today?
what's that?
Not necessarily about the Eagles, but the Eagles obviously played the 49ers in the NFC Championship game last year.
Right.
And, Purdy got hurt, and once that happened, that game was done. Well, apparently, if the 49ers would have won, there were plans that were already made to reach out to Philip Rivers and have him come in on 2 weeks practice and lead the 49ers at the Super Bowl. I happened to read that like right before we got on here. I thought that was a little interesting that they were already planning that during the game because there's no way you could have known ahead of time.
Because that guy has a track record of winning Super Bowls?
Well, I think it was because at
I
that
was
point,
like, what?
because you didn't have Lance, you didn't have really Garoppolo,
Yeah.
and obviously Purdy, who just like had his shoulder,
Yeah.
readjusted completely.
Sure. But
You know,
as far as options go, it wasn't the worst one.
no, you could have done a lot worse. Plus, I'm sure he wanted to get away from his 12 kids or however the hell many he has at this point.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, he's got like 9 or 10 kids. He's got like an entire offensive team. I don't know if that offensive line would be very good, but you
uh,
know,
you know,
he can pretty much field an entire offense.
he's got a 7-on-7 three, three deep at this point apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's up with these running backs, man? Like what are they thinking on this? Like I mean, I get the whole, we're the best players in the league at our position. They are, absolutely. But if there's a position that has a very, very, very small difference between the people who are at the top and the people who are climbing the ladder, it's often just past success. So if
Yeah,
if a market is oversaturated with you know what amounts to a few available spots, why wouldn't the team go for the better value option?
Yeah, exactly. The way I've seen it described is the difference between 1 and 100 for the top running backs is vastly smaller than the difference between like 1 and 100 for wide receivers.
Right.
The 100th best running back isn't going to be all that different than the 100th best or the first best running back. I mean, there's going to be some difference between Derrick Henry and, I don't know, pick a third string running back. There's going
Right.
to be a difference, but that third string running back can come in and be very, very serviceable
Right.
right away.
I
I mean,
mean,
your job is take the ball from a quarterback and run in a straight line up the field. Like, the not to be, over exaggerating it, but I mean, that's their job. Take
yeah.
the ball, run the ball.
I mean, there's
You don't have to worry about trying to catch it.
yeah.
You know,
I think you might be oversimplifying it a little bit. I mean, there certainly is a diversity
maybe,
of skill set amongst some of these
yeah,
guys. They all bring a lot of different things to the table, but there's also a lot of things that they bring to the table that there are other people who bring the same things. And
yeah.
I look at a guy like Isaiah Pacheco, like for the Chiefs, right? Like I love how he runs, and like I'm surprised I had no clue who he was. Like I'm a college football fan. I watch a lot of college football, and I
To
had
be fair, not a lot of people watch Rutgers.
nobody should watch Rutgers. you know that man. Okay, that's a whole other thing, but I mean, Rutgers is like the Bengals at the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Somehow, some way, we were going to compare the Bengals to Rutgers football.
I
I
mean,
mean, I'll,
at the
I'll
at the
allow it.
at the very least, I'm saying that the Bengals are a way better version of Rutgers, as far as their
I would hope so. I would definitely hope so. I
yeah.
just think with these running backs, like what the way the NFL game is played today, a running back is just not as important as it was back in the 90s. In the
Right.
90s, you had Emmett Smith, Thurman Thomas. Your team was known. You're still known by your quarterback, but then the next most popular player on almost every team would probably have been the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's quarterback, wide receiver. Your running back might be your fifth or sixth most popular player on the team anymore.
Yeah.
And, these guys are wanting 15, 16, 17, 18, $20 million contracts. That's just not how the league runs anymore. There's a
Uh huh.
handful, your Ecklers, your McCaffrey. And honestly, that might be it. Like, what other running backs can run and catch the way those two do?
Honest,
There's
honestly,
very,
I think that's what the game's going. Like you see guys like Debo Samuel. He's a wide
yeah,
receiver, but
Debo.
he's an actual running back. you know,
Yeah,
like I think that there's over time we're gonna see more of an emphasis on those all around players. The guy who can play a little H back, play a little tailback, go out into the slot, run some routes. Create mismatches all over the field because
yeah,
the days of the I formation are over. And that's really when those guys were at their most important. Everyone was running that power I, and it was big boy football, and you had the 250-pound middle linebackers, and the game's changed. It's speed.
yeah,
It's just yeah. Hey, anyway, it's speed. It's precision. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's moved much farther from its roots than I think any of us really ever expected. Like, when the run and shoot first came out and everything, we're like, pass, 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 pass. But really, it's not quite that extreme, but it's there. I mean, even the Steelers in the Roethlisberger heyday, man, that dude just chucked the ball around 50, 55 times a game. It worked, so nobody complained.
yeah,
But, just those sort of seasons and that kind of success just delegitimizes the need for a true pure stud running back. So, guys like Eckler and Dalvin Cook's another one, although I don't think they give him enough
yeah.
opportunity in the passing game because I think he fits that mold. Like those guys that you just want to get in space with the ball no matter how. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You don't have to take an eye handoff behind six offensive linemen because that's basically what your tight end was back then.
yeah,
It's not the way it is. You get those guys however it is. Jet sweeps, bubble sweeps, um, slip screens, wheel routes, like whatever it takes. Like get those guys the ball and they create mismatches. And I think guys like that are the future of the game. And I think you could see players like that start to command those top salaries because those are the ones that are going to have longevity because
yeah,
they're not fucking around with the hog mollies down in the pit all that much. They're out dancing with the cornerbacks and the safeties and the linebackers, which it's going to prolong your career quite a bit. So um,
yeah,
I think like any market, this is a current dip. So the applicants to the positions have to adjust their skill sets to fit the needs of these teams. So it's like, can you do what the league and is demanding in the future? Change the game. Ain't no I formation tailback. You probably won't see another 2,000 yard rusher again. I don't think. I think it's highly unlikely. But I think you could start seeing situations where you start seeing running backs pushing 100 catch seasons. I don't think that's out of the question at all now.
yeah. I mean, Eckler's hasn't Eckler had 100 catches?
I believe he
I know
has.
there's at least
Yeah.
been one running back with 100 catches, but yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just the game used to be you would run to set up the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Anymore, you're passing to set up your run.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to pass the ball 2 to 3 times more per game than you're going to run the ball
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And I just again, if you're not able to catch a ball out of the backfield or even line up in the slot the way McCaffrey and Eckler do, or Cordell Patterson or uh, Debo, like if you can't do that, you're not gonna. There's no reason for a team to be offering you shitloads of money.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I'll go back to another Bengal player like Mixon. He was supposed to make $12 million this year, or something stupid, 10, $12 million, whatever it was. He took a pay cut because he knew if he were to stay on that salary, he was probably getting his ass cut
Mm-hmm.
because it didn't make any sense for the Bengals to carry him on the roster at that big of a cap hit
Yeah.
when we can literally just promote our backup and
Right.
probably get similar. You'll get similar output.
Your backup had good
It's
games too. It wasn't
well to be
Bernard.
fair,
Who was it? Yeah,
P Ryan.
Samaje Perine. Yeah, he's a solid
Yeah,
back.
but I mean he's in Denver now, so well he's yeah.
Well, who do
We'll
you?
see if he gets the starting spot in
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Denver. Now, yeah, it's not
but whoever you
P
got
Ryan
backing up now is
anymore.
going to be
Yeah,
a perfectly reasonable replacement for Pirine.
yeah, exactly.
Like this,
It
the skill
the
set's
only
not
thing
going to be
that
far
might drop
off.
off is no. The only thing that might drop off is the pass blocking,
Yeah.
and that's what the Bengals have been working on the most
Yeah.
the last like week or so with our running backs. Is okay, which one of you is going to be our third down back? Which one's going to be the blocking back?
Right.
Because that's what Pirine was. Mixon kind of sucked at it, but apparently he got a lot better over the offseason from what we've been told. But you know, if our main running back is Joe Mixon, who's just, hand him the ball, let him run. Not, I mean, he'll catch passes out of the backfield. He had, probably 30, 40 catches last year. Then he does pretty good, but he's not a weapon that teams are going to be like, oh, God, watch out for him,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to an Eckler. I think the running backs that came out this year that's probably going to have the best rookie year, it's not going to be Bijan.
Mm-mm.
It's going to be Gibbs in Detroit.
I like Gibbs a
I mean,
lot.
he's going to, like, he is probably going to be Goff's favorite receiver.
Yep.
Well, for one, you don't have Jamison Williams for what, 6 or 8 games because of his
Yeah.
gambling. So for one, you're already out your number one receiver. Well,
Right.
I mean, I guess you
Yeah.
have Amon Ra, but so you're out your 1A or 1B, whichever way you want to put those two. But I think Gibbs is probably he'll probably blow up. I wouldn't be surprised if he had, 800, 900 yards receiving
Yeah.
and, another 600, 700 rushing. If you get 1,600 yards out of a rookie running back, I mean, I don't think anybody would be complaining about that, even though people were making fun of the pick at the time.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. Like he's very much like what they had in Swift, only more durable. You know,
Yeah,
he's shown that he can make it through entire seasons and not necessarily get hurt. But like
yeah,
I loved him at Georgia Tech. Like I thought he was, you know, him playing at Alabama. I was not happy about that because Georgia Tech had a good player and
yeah,
they kind of always suck too. So
yeah.
it's
Georgia Tech, yeah, Georgia Tech's everybody's like second favorite team. They just don't want to admit it. Like they want to see Georgia Tech do good.
I think so. I mean, just because they're playing second fiddle to Georgia all the time,
Yeah,
you know. But
exactly. But yeah, yeah, it was kind of like the rich get richer when he went to Alabama.
yeah, exactly. But that's what they do, right?
Yeah,
That's why for me college football is getting I love college football. I love the game. I love watching the games. But all this realignment stuff's making it more boring for me. So I have a feeling it's going to push me into diving into the NFL considerably more than I have in years past, which is a good thing for this podcast because
yeah,
I'm gonna know my shit.
yeah. I mean, I would hope so.
Well, I mean, I usually am on it, but I might just be more on it than that. Just take it to another level, you know.
Yeah, I can
What?
appreciate that.
Yeah. So what's this I hear about the NFL is considering trying out the XFL style kickoff?
Yeah, supposedly that's the rumor going around is they're trying to lessen the injury risk on kickoffs. The XFL, it was what is it? You kick off from your 30, but the return team and basically 10 players on the return team and 10 players on the kicking team stand, what is it, 5 yards apart at the opposing 35 and 30. And then the only two people that are allowed to move before it's caught is the kicker and the return man. So I don't think you're allowed to set up like the double returns that you sometimes see. You'll try to have a team try to set up a trick play or something like that because you can only have the one person back.
Right.
And then on a touchback for them, instead of it being at the 25, it's the 35. Um, yeah, it's a good idea. I don't think kicking from the 30 is far enough back the way NFL kickers kick these days. I mean, that's still going to go into the end zone 8 out of 10 times. So
I
you're still going to wind up with a bunch of touchbacks.
I agree with you, but I do remember that when they had him back at the 30 for a while, which they did for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah,
There weren't that many, touchbacks. For as many as we see go out of the end zone now, it's just it makes me wonder if it was just the pure confidence in the fact that they knew from the 35 it was going over the goal line that
yeah,
you maybe have a little try harder from 5 yards back and it's not as accurate because
yeah,
I don't really remember that many touchbacks back then. But I mean, training's different. Kickers' legs are getting different and all that stuff. I'm good with it going back to the 25 if that means less touchbacks because I fucking I hate touchbacks. Like
yeah,
I would like anything other than an endless string of touchbacks. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's just boring.
it's super boring. Like rather not. So let's find a way to get it, get a play involved. And I'm good with that. I think it could be
Yeah,
like slightly modified. Like, say, I don't like the whole thing where you have everybody spread across the field because depending on where you kick the ball, by the time the people on the outsides get to the insides, they're still running at the same speed that they would have on a regular kickoff. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The people coming down looking for the tackle are always going full speed. The guys going forward looking for blocks not aren't always. Like they don't like run
yeah,
back and turn around and run full speed forward and look for like an absolute train wreck of a collision. It's kind of not how it works. So I think that if they did something similar to what they do, but instead of having like the 11 guys on the line 5 yards apart, let's do 7 guys on the line 5 yards apart, and then allow three more after that, like 15 yards apart. So you said those 3 guys, another, 5 yards back from the original five. So those ones are 15 yards apart, right? Um,
Yeah.
but then make it a penalty to kick the ball outside of your outside guy. So if you align your seven guys to the right side of the field, you're not allowed to kick the ball to the outside of that seventh guy. You know what I mean? So if you do,
Yeah.
automatic flag, it's on the 35. You know what I mean? So that way
So
you're
okay, so
keeping
you
everybody closer together. You know what I mean? Like there's less opportunity to build speed and have crazy collisions, but the people are still kind of around the play. So, you know, you still have something happen to where there aren't high speed collisions. Everybody's involved in the play. Good blocking wins. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that the receiver can't run outside the seventh guy. You could still set up plays for that, but I just think the three guys allows you to condense things into more of a football play than 11 or 10 guys spread sideline to sideline running together into some weird sort of domino thing.
yeah, and I don't
Maybe I'm getting too into it.
I don't know if yeah,
I've been
I
thinking
don't know if
about
the
it.
XFL could qualify it as a success. I mean, I don't know how many injuries they had on kickoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know if that information that you can find out there. I'm sure somebody probably has it somewhere. But it also just it didn't really make anything exciting.
Yeah.
Like I read the story on how it kind of happened in the XFL, and it was like they didn't have a single return over like 25 yards or something until like week 5
Yeah.
when somebody broke like an 80-yard return. And then finally you had the one and only kick return happen like week 7 or 8 or something like that. Like over an 80 game season, they had one kick return for a touchdown. Granted, I don't know how many the NFL had last year compared to the amount of games that they play, but just knowing that you got one out of every 80 is your likelihood of having a kick return for a touchdown. For a fan, if they see that stat, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's dumb." Like, I want to see more. Give the runner more reason to bring the ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, if they were to change the rule instead of the touchback being at the 25, it's at the 35. Well, that doesn't give the runner any reason to. I mean, again, I know they're trying to cut down on injuries,
Right.
but how about instead of making the touchback a 35, make the touchback be like the 20, like it used to be.
Yeah.
Like at least then
I'm fine with
uh,
keeping it at the
you're saving.
25. Like, what's wrong with the 25? It's perfect.
Yeah, I think there needs to be more benefit to bringing the ball out
Yeah.
because that's why nowadays if the ball makes it to the end zone, there's no reason for the returner to bring it out.
Right.
There's like, yep, we'll start at 25. We'll take that 75-yard touchdown drive.
There isn't, but although every return man wants to bring it out. If they think they have
Yeah,
reason to bring it out, they'll bring it out, even when they shouldn't.
yeah,
You shouldn't, but they're like, I'm gonna go make a play. All the time, the guy's 5 yards deep, right, or 3 yards deep, 2 yards deep, whatever it is. His guy's going like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. He
yeah,
runs right through it,
yeah,
gets fucking hit and tackled at the 12.
yeah. But that's what fans want to see more of. For like
I want
fans
to I
want
want
the
to see it
players
too. I
to
want to see it
stop
too.
moving. Like I want to see more returns. I don't want to see
I
people
do
get
too.
hurt.
I do too.
So there needs to be a fine line somewhere, and I just think if they tweak it just a little bit, you know, but
What what if they
yeah,
get
I don't
what
know what the best way to do it would be,
what do we
but
what if they limit the kickoff period, but not like the kickoff, but the act of kicking the ball off the tee, like they use the punt or the old
oh yeah,
rugby go back,
go back to a punt kick.
yeah, punt from the 35. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's still a
I
six.
mean
That's
even
still
something
a
like that would be
yeah. Because
or
as at least that's I mean
yeah,
that's
it's
a play where everyone's running in the same direction, right? So make it a
or I guess
punt.
maybe to go the other way. So now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if maybe going the other way would even make it better,
What do you mean?
making it to where a touchback. So like I was just saying, make the touchback like the 20, but maybe to increase the chances of a return, you actually make the touchback further up the field. And I think that's kind of what the XFL did with making it the 35.
Right.
They were trying to
Keep the ball in play.
they were trying to limit the amount of touchbacks, which makes sense. But again, even still with, I don't know,
I
the
think
difference between an NFL kicker and an XFL kicker, but I'm pretty sure NFL kickers are probably a little bit stronger. So I still think kicking off from the 30 is just not enough.
I'm like I know this just popped in the top of the noggin, but I don't mind the whole rugby style or punt kickoff style like they do with safeties.
Yeah,
Instead of doing it
yeah,
from the 25 or whatever, you can do it from the 30 or whatever. Make sure you because most guys aren't gonna punt the ball 70 yards in the air into the end zone.
no,
Even on an actual punt, say the guy averages 40 yards a punt, he's what on average 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage, something like that. So that's 52 yards in the air on average. He get some
yeah,
touchbacks, yeah. So from the 30, 35, maybe the average kickoff punt style lands at the 5 or 10, you know.
yeah. And
I
at least that would promote more returns.
Right. But at the same time, the average punt return is a lot shorter. So,
Yeah,
even if you had it up or back farther, back at the 20 to where now let's think about that. Because if they're the do the when they anytime they do the safety thing, they kick from the 25 or the 20.
I want to say the 25.
I want to say the 25 too, but I feel like the average starting position after one of those is somewhere around the 35 or 40, right? You kind of
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
yeah,
All right, so if we bumped it up to say the 35, 10 yards farther than the average starting position punt style that way would be right around the 25-yard line, right? 25 30-yard line.
yeah,
It's reasonable.
yeah,
You get no touchbacks or few touchbacks. Um, you know, minimal returns like punts. I mean, you know, I think all the same protective of the runners could exist. I think the bottom line is just we want to play on a kickoff. I don't think I care
yeah,
terribly much exactly what it looks like as long as it looks like a football play and it creates some action. Don't want
yeah,
touchbacks.
exactly.
That's all I want.
Yeah, you
No
don't.
no
Yeah,
touchbacks.
you don't want dead time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love it when a team, you score a touchdown, you go to a commercial break, come back for the kickoff, and all you do is you just see somebody kick it through the end zone, and then you go straight back to a commercial. It's like, okay, well, that was the biggest waste of 12 seconds of my life ever. Like, look, come on,
Have,
if you're gonna make me go straight back to another minute-long commercial,
I
at
know.
least give me something to watch in those 12 seconds.
Right.
Like,
The most
make
ridiculous
it fun.
the most ridiculous part is that anytime you watch one of those condensed games from an NFL game and they're like 3 hours long, and you can watch the whole game in like 35 minutes.
Yeah, that should tell you something. Yeah. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot like, obviously I love soccer. There's, a huge talk right now with, you know, increasing the game time because in a 90-minute soccer game, the ball's only in play for like 50 minutes. And that's kind of how I feel with kickoffs. It's like, okay, do something with that dead time. There
Yeah.
needs to be something more going on. Like, keep me entertained. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not the whole dance monkey dance type of thing, but come on, do something to keep me glued to my seat where I don't want to get up off the couch for this
Right.
next, 2 minutes because nothing's going to happen. McPherson's going to kick one through the end zone, or
Yeah.
you know, whoever the kicker is going to kick it through the end zone. Like it doesn't freaking matter. Like that, there just needs to be more there. The
I agree.
NFL needs more. We need another Dante Hall or another Devin Hester or Deion Sanders. If he literally just returned kicks,
Yeah.
like you don't have that in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
And those were some of the most fun guys to watch.
Yeah. I loved watching Hester take back kicks. Even like, college football wise, as a Pitt fan, I had Quadri Henderson and I think he tied the national record for kick returns in a career or something like that. It's like that those kind of plays were fun.
Yeah,
I like to see long touchdowns and kickoffs and punts are part of that. So it has to be in the game and endless touchbacks suck.
yeah. No, they just need to do something. If the game is literally just going to touchback after touchback after touchback, then just get rid of the kickoff altogether.
Yeah.
Just what's the point? Like if the route you're wanting to take is to lessen the injuries, well, guess what? You can't have any injuries if you just start every drive at the 25.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's also so hypocritical because they say they want to lessen the injuries, but then they add more games to the season.
no, it's the same amount of games. It's just one now counts and before it didn't. I mean, if you think about it, before it was four preseason games, now it's only three, and it was 16 regular season games, now it's 17.
yeah, but it's and
That's their reasoning. That's the
but
owner's reasoning.
playoff teams, yeah, they tend to rest their guys or whatnot. But for most,
Yeah,
the starters
if they can.
don't play that much in the final preseason game. They only still play a
Yeah,
half. It's not a full.
yeah,
They're protecting those guys. They're keeping them out of trouble.
yeah,
The games are when the stakes are. It's not the actual preseason stuff because they're protecting people.
yeah.
There's nothing on the line.
No, I think yeah, and I think
I think
their reasoning is, oh well, you get that 2 week break now between the final preseason game and the regular season. It's like, okay, well, they also need to find a reason to make preseason games mean something too,
yeah.
other than I mean,
But
they're just glorified two-hand touch.
The NFL, they're just blowing smoke, man. That's all. That's all they're doing.
Yeah,
That's all they're
that is
doing.
what they're best at.
They want us glued to our seats and then making money.
Yeah,
That's what they're there for. So
yeah. I mean, they just raised their whatever that NFL Plus or whatever, had it out for 1 year, and they're like,
yeah.
we're not charging enough, so let's go ahead and raise the prices up a little bit.
I did like I could never get it to work. Like I paid like the whatever it was like $7.99 a month or
$5.
something like that, and I got like replays. I couldn't even like
Oh,
I was
did you
expecting
have
to. I thought I
the
was.
premium version?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was a confusing website that didn't really work all that well. So
yeah. I think the premium
I gave
version
up
was
quick.
7.99. Now it's like 12,
Uh,
or it might have went to 10. The basic version went from 5 to like 8 or 7.99 or something like that. But you get NFL Red Zone now.
oh,
That's
dude,
their
that's good.
yeah.
That's worth it. That's my
That's
favorite.
their big
It's my favorite thing to watch is
yeah.
NFL Red Zone. So
I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie. I've never watched a minute, and I might be the only NFL fan that's never watched the NFL Red
dude,
Zone.
it will change your life. It's the
But
best.
see,
It's the
how do you
best.
watch that if you're trying to watch a Steelers game, or are you only watching that if the Steelers play at 4? You're only watching that at 1.
Split screens. I have the Steeler game, so like I have my computer HDMI'd into my TV. So I bring up multiple instances, one of the Steeler game, one of Red Zone, and then I'll have the Steeler game kind of in the upper portion. I'll have the other one in the lower portion. So if there's nothing happening on the Steeler game, I can just toggle through the screens, catch up with all the other games.
Okay.
Then when Steeler game comes on, I can go back over there. So or if some big play happens and there's nothing, I'll click over and see what's going on. So
To be fair, maybe I'll have to try that this year.
yeah, if the whole if what you have has the ability to give you multiple instances of channels at the same time, it's that's the ticket. That's the
Maybe I'll
thing.
have to try. But up until up until this year, I have literally watched maybe 1 minute of the NFL Red Zone if games have been on. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, like everything all at once, but I'm like, if I'm watching the Bengals game, I don't want to like not know what's going on. So I'm like, well, how do fans do that? Like, are they just watching that and then like following their game on their phone? I'm like, well, that seems pointless, but okay. Like, what?
Yeah, no, I mean like Steeler game definitely
I like
comes first, but there's late slate games, the red zone's awesome.
yeah.
Um, you know,
I mean, I'll
sometimes
give that guy credit. He does it every weekend for whatever 8 hours. Like, I
yeah.
mean, that
He kick
7 8 hours.
he kicks ass
Takes some
too.
balls.
Like
I couldn't do it.
that guy's the man. Like he does a hell of a job. Takes a talent to pull that off. That guy's a legend, man. He's the ultimate bro for pulling that off. If you asking me, he's the announcer version of a dude.
Right, yeah. I sure as shit couldn't do it. I'd be like, all right, can we get
uh,
somebody else in here? Like,
I
I'm hungry. I want some food.
right. I'd be like, this is a guy, Godzilla.
Oh, look, another touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, I mean, shoot. NFL season's upon us, man. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about through the first couple weeks of camp, so maybe this is a good place to, you know, axe the program for now, and hopefully we get some more juicy tidbits of news before we record again.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on in this Seahawks Vikings game. I mean, it's 10-7, so there's been a couple touchdowns, but
Yeah.
not too much going on. CJ Stroud made it 2 passes before he threw his first interception, so congrats on that. Yeah.
Rookies be
Lasted
rookieing.
longer than most. Yeah, lasted longer than most OSU quarterbacks do in the league.
I love it.
I mean,
You must not
it's
be
not
an
saying
Ohio
much,
you
but
must not be a Ohio State fan.
hell no. No, I'm from Ohio, but I am not an Ohio State fan.
So
Not in the slightest.
where do your allegiances lie?
UC.
Okay, Cincy. Okay. See
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Des Ritter, Sauce, all them.
Marty
Nape's favorite NFL player is
M-
apparently not Sauce Gardner.
Marty Gilliard is the one that sticks in my craw, man.
Well, yeah, he kind of lit you guys up
To-
for
Tony
a
Pi-
handful of, well, a couple of years.
Tony
Tony
Pike.
Pike, yeah,
Yeah.
he's right down the street. He's not too far from me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
he's
grew
like,
up, literally grew up like one street over from where my dad grew up.
oh, that's cool.
Not like they're the same age, but he's a local boy.
Oh, right on.
So it's good to see
Hometown
him.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's
yeah,
great.
hometown guy. Went to Carolina. Now he coaches.
Yeah, UC's got some good recent history at the very least, man. I remember growing up, it was rough.
No, we sucked. I lived 2 doors down from us was Wink Martindale, who is actually now the defensive
Really?
coordinator for the Giants. Either the Giants or the Ravens. Whoever the hell
No clue.
he's the defensive coordinator for one of them, and he was the linebacker
Martindale
coach.
sounds Ravens, but or nah, I don't
I
know.
think he.
It's one
I,
of those two.
hold
You're
on.
right. It's either the Giants or
Yeah,
the Ravens.
I want to say he was the Ravens. Hold on, let's Google it real quick. Oh wait, don't look up Wink Martindale. That's the old TV host.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I
the
was
Giants.
thinking. I was like, wasn't that the dating game or something?
Yeah, yeah, he's with the Giants right now. But yeah, he was literally like he lived 2 doors down from us, and he's either the defensive line or like linebacker coach for UC when Rick Minter was the head coach. And like he would literally offer us free tickets and we would say no because that's how bad UC was at the time. Like there's just no point in going to watch it. Like even if you
Yeah,
were giving me tickets for free, like my dad and I would be like, no, we got better shit to do on a Saturday. Like
yeah.
we'll
I, re- I,
we'll go somewhere else.
I,
But
rem-
thanks.
I remember a game maybe in the early '90s or late '80s or something where they lost to Penn State like 81 to nothing. Like
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
rough days, but like I feel for you there, man, because my Pitt Panthers had some rough times in the '90s. We lost to Ohio State 72 to nothing once. That was
That's not bad.
for Pitt. It is like
I mean, we just lost to Ohio State like 55-0 3 years ago. They literally the year before we went undefeated up until the playoff. That was a fun game to go to.
yeah, go figure, right? Yeah, I'll do. I've been
Yeah.
there's some games that have been so fun. I've been to both of the Pitt ACC championship games. One we lost. Obviously, we got stomped by Clemson. One we won, and I don't know, man. I don't. There's something. I went to the Fiesta Bowl in 2005. Just there's those
Is
like
that
kind
Larry
of
Fitzgerald?
was that Larry Fitz?
I mean, I
No,
feel like he would have had to have been on a team where you guys were good.
I think no, he wasn't on that team. He was on the 2003 team. This was
Okay.
so yeah, like that was a good team that we had too, but Virginia Tech was also good and they beat us head to head, so we had the same record, but they got the bid, so we ended up somewhere else. But the year that we made the Fiesta Bowl, we were in like a four-way tie. This was after Virginia Tech, Miami, and Boston College left for the ACC. So we
Okay.
were a very pared down Big East at that time, and like four of the eight teams tied with the same record. And after some sort of convoluted tiebreak, procedure,
Yep.
we got the Fiesta Bowl nod, and we'd sucked for a long time at that point. So me and my dad looked at each other. We're like, "Let's go, let's go."
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. We might
man,
not get another chance. Let's go do this.
that was the we played the Alex Smith Utah team, the undefeated Utah team.
Oh,
Remember?
that was a
Yeah,
pretty good team.
that was a real good team. They stomped the crap out of us, that's for sure. But that was great, man. Me and my dad walked straight into the Utah bar. Like the Pitt fans, like we went to the Pit bars. They were all boring, like just standing around, sipping their wine, talking about boring dumb shit. So we're like, screw this. Let's go find where the Utah people are and let's go talk a bunch of shit. And we did, and everyone was like, yeah, you guys are gonna lose, and you ain't gonna come back. And they're like, you bet. And as soon as we got our asses kicked, we walked right back into that bar and we drank free all night long. We ate crow and drank for free.
Hey, I mean, as long as it was free,
It was
at
just
that point, I wouldn't even care.
those college football games, though. I mean, like anytime you get a chance to go to one of those, man, just go. You know, that's the best. The party is good because it's just everybody celebrating the same happiness, and that's just a
Yeah.
it's a cool thing to experience in a group. So,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, college games are definitely a hell of a lot different than the NFL.
mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Just something about the student sections makes it a little better. Maybe the NFL should bring student sections into the NFL somehow. I mean, the Ravens have a band. I mean, as
Yeah.
stupid as it fucking is, but hey, they have a band.
The Steelers will never have a band or cheerleaders.
Wait, I guess I've never realized you guys don't have cheerleaders.
We've never had cheerleaders, and it's a point of pride. We're a steel
Fair
town, baby. We're a steel town.
I mean, I guess you can hang your hat on that and your, whatever, 6 Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the one leads to the pride for the other. So,
Yeah, probably.
we don't need to
Yeah,
lead.
not jealous or anything over
Yeah,
here.
we don't need our cheers led. We got these banners up there, and
Yeah,
renegade.
yeah, we'll just wave this piss yellow towel around. It's all good.
Yeah. Hey, it takes over a place when it happens, though, right? It's like waving
Unfortunately,
it's like waving a construction vest.
it really is. And you guys are, I like to talk a lot of shit, but I will say I've been to a handful of Bengals Steelers games here in Cincinnati. Your fans are a lot better than literally any other fan, like Browns fans, Ravens fans, like hands down, Steelers fans are 10,000 times nicer than the other two sets.
Oh, well, I appreciate
So I'll
that.
give you guys credit for that. I'll give you credit for that.
I feel like you're just like buttering me up to really hit me hard next
No,
week.
no. Unfortunately, no. Last year I talked really great about Minka after week 1. This year's talking nice about your fans. Next year I don't know what the hell I'll nice to have or what I will have nice to say about your team. Maybe that Kenny Pickett's a good quarterback, but I really doubt it.
I believe he is a good quarterback, and I believe that you will come around. And I might just admit to you before the season's over that the Bengals are still a good team.
I'll be waiting. I won't hold my breath, but I'll be waiting.
All right, well, yeah, don't brother. It won't go well if you hold it too long. So, all right, man. Good talking to you, and everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks for tuning in, and do the liking and subscribing, and get this show in front of some people because
yeah,
that's what
hit
YouTube
the
just
bell.
hit the bell too and the thing and all the
Yeah,
buttons except for the dislike one. We don't want you to hit that one.
yeah. Only like, no dislike.
Exactly. It's the one on the left. All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you probably next week, huh?
Yep. See you next week.
See you next week.
Yep.
Oops. I didn't mean to do that.